Se o chat está funcionando. Porque se a gente tiver que
Tá,
falar alguma coisa em off, né?
tá funcionando. Mas aqui já
Beleza.
já começou. Então, let's go.
Ok.
Very good. So, hello, English students. Welcome to Melhore Seu Inglês. Today we have a very special guest. It's my student, Rodolfo. It's an advanced student. So this will be a live class, a normal class, just a sample, just to give you a taste of what an advanced class looks like. But first, Rodolfo is going to tell us a little bit about... Hello, Rodolfo. How are you?
Hello, Erika. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for this invitation.
Yeah, of course, anytime. So, first, before we start the class, Rodolfo is going to talk about this article here, Strengthening the Student Toolbox. We're going to talk about study tips. But before that, I would like Rodolfo to talk a little about his history with English, his past experiences. So first, before you started studying here with us, Rodolfo, tell us about what you did before that.
Okay.
And you can say anything else you want to say about yourself if you want, okay?
Okay. I have nothing special to say about me.
Okay.
I'm a common person. But so before I started doing class in Skype online, I had took some course in irregular situations, like we have one. Okay.
Did you take classes at English courses, English schools?
Yes,
You did, right?
I try to remember the name of this English course.
No, that's okay. But for how long? For how much time?
So, about 2 years.
For 2 years. Okay. Yeah. For 2 years, very nice. And then after that, you...
After that, I stopped it about 1 year or 2. And at some moment, I started to take some class again. But
Rodolfo, let me just interrupt you. Is there a fan near you?
Yeah, what?
Is there a fan or a window or something? Is there a wind? No?
Yes.
Yes?
Okay.
Because the wind is kind of hitting the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think now it's better. Okay, so continue, please. So after this period of 2 years studying at an English school, what did you do?
Okay, I took particular classes.
Private classes.
Private classes. The teacher was American. It was about 6 months.
Okay.
And he went back to USA.
I remember that.
Yeah, and at this point I decided to continue my class, but I at that moment I didn't have any plans about how I would continue my English lessons. At that moment, I Googled and I found Melhore Seu Inglês.
Yeah, that's a good way to find, right?
Yes.
Yeah, teachers.
Yeah, but so, I avoid regular courses, like I am not let me see.
Very keen on courses. I just taught this on Instagram the other day.
Yes, like WhatsApp.
That was the course. Yeah.
Research.
Yeah.
I avoided this kind of course.
Yeah, for some people and at some points, they might be helpful. I think like everything is good. All teachers, all courses are good. And it depends on what the student, at what point the student is in his in his course, in his journey. And also it depends a lot on the personality of the student, right? So for you, these kind of courses weren't very appealing at the time, right? So you didn't take them.
Yes, I don't think there is a rule that if you do that, you will be successful. But for me, I think took private lessons is better. And even online, I noticed that it's even better because I don't waste time commuting.
Yes,
example.
oh my God, I really love this too. Yeah.
So that's it.
Very nice. So then you started taking the classes with us. So it's been a little over 2 years now, right? I remember I saw your spreadsheets from 2016, January. That's when you started.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I just did a live explaining how to build an example of a habit tracker. That's the spreadsheet we use in class. So, and I said that it changes a lot. It has changed a lot. Your first spreadsheet was completely different. Do you remember?
I remember that at the beginning we were following
books. Yes, and you did like 3 books in a series in a very short time, in about 1 year and a half. It was about 6 months for each book, so, because you were studying a lot. And it was, I remember also that it was a period in which you had more time.
Yes.
And I told you to use this time because I told you you would be busy in the near future. So use this time. And that's exactly what you did, remember?
Yes, it was a good advice.
Yeah.
It was interesting because at that moment I'm so unsure about things and my life, etc. And even about the how do I could develop my English skills. And everyone knows that following grammar and doing a lot of exercise, maybe it can be frustrated because
sometimes
you don't really see any advances, and your improvement is not so clear to the beginning. But now I can see it was a great path.
Yes,
Because now I can feel that when I'm reading or listen to other podcasts, etc. I can understand the meaning and the structure, and it helps me a lot to figure out some things.
But I think this feeling of frustration, it came mostly after you reached like a because now you're kind of advanced in this advanced kind of area, and when you were kind of intermediate, this is common. I tell students all the time, maybe we have talked about this already, but intermediate students, they tend to plateau, and at this point they find everything frustrating. They feel they are not improving, nothing helped them, and many students give up and they stop studying. So the intermediate level is a very delicate moment in a student's journey because you have to push yourself, challenge yourself, and you have to keep going. You need energy to keep going. Otherwise, you'll be stuck there for a long time. So I felt that you just, how do they say, sail through it, something like that. Very, because you're disciplined, you study in a regular way. I remember that during all this time, all these 2 years, you have been having classes regularly. This is something really important. And although sometimes, because of life events and things like that, sometimes you have a more regularity in your studies between the classes, and sometimes you can't do as much. This is normal. But you kept pushing yourself to maintain this regularity, and this is important. So
just to point out, it's interesting because I think we have already talked about these things, and it's difficult to keep ourselves in the right path. It demands a lot of like suffering.
A lot of effort, because
Yeah.
it's challenging. Yes.
Yes. And I think it's for everything in your lives. Né? Tem que ser
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. If you are suffering, in quotation marks, it means you are pushing yourself and you are growing. If you are happy all the time and if you're not tired, it means you're stuck and you're in your comfort zone and you're not moving, you're not going anywhere, and this is not so good. Sometimes you need to rest and then you stay quiet there and get your energy back. But when you have energy, you have to keep pushing yourself. That's the point here. So besides the books, so you used 3 books, you did all the exercises, I remember, and we have the spreadsheets here as evidence. You did vocabulary, because I talked about these sites yesterday, about vocabulary.com, which is a site where you practice the use of words by reading, listening, and writing. Speaking, just if you want to repeat the words. And your score there is very high. Can you open your, can you tell us right now what your score is there? Because I told...
Let me open the site.
Because I'm telling the people who are studying by themselves to use these numbers to practice saying these numbers, especially out loud, right? Try to read them out loud. They are challenging, and if people don't practice, they will never be able to say, especially big numbers. So what's your score right now?
It's 1,500,000 450.
Excellent, very nice. What about Duolingo? Duolingo is another site that I talk a lot about all the time. I'm never tired of it. And like I told in the other video, that after the first course the students should finish is English-Portuguese, and that's what you did, first thing you did. And after that, I give the option of never using Duolingo again, or just reviewing the English-Portuguese course as much as you want, or start learning a new language. And that's what you did, right?
Yeah.
Did you finish the Spanish-English course? And then this time, no Portuguese, just English and the other language. Did you finish that one or not yet?
Let me see. I don't remember actually.
Yeah, because it's been a long time.
Yes, let me see.
You started. I remember that you started.
Yeah, I started, but I think I gave up and I started another.
Another course, another language.
No, it was another skill. We start to focus that more in conversation.
Okay, we changed, yes.
Yes.
So, like I said, also, we change, whenever the goals change, we change the material, the resources we use in class, etc. Very nice. And now, Rodolfo, you have new goals, right? Your immediate goal right now is to prepare yourself for
IELTS test.
Yes. So, let's just start with that, and then we'll start talking about the article finally.
Okay.
Just what is your strategy right now to do that? What are the resources you've been using? How have you been studying? Study tips now for IELTS.
For IELTS.
Yeah.
So I started IELTS in the last weeks. It's not. It's a new subject for me. Érika recommended me to do an EDX course.
EDX, yes.
EDX, I think it's IELTS EDX, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know where. No, this is just a platform, and they offer different courses. One of them is they offer TOEFL too, IELTS and TOEFL.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I at the beginning I'm like flying over the whole test, understand how it works and everything.
A panoramic view, right?
A panoramic view
of the test.
I think the next step is do some tests, and try to figure out which skills I have to develop most. And we will do that and see and fitting the things.
Yeah. So I told him to follow this course here offered by EDX, and what you did recently is the course overview, like you said. So finding your way around the course and the course overview. And now you have here these parts which are parts of the test. So the listening section, and then speaking, reading, and writing. You can practice everything here. And you even have practice tests here, extra material, next steps, etc. So there is a lot. And so the idea, as you might already know, is the student does everything between the classes, right, Rodolfo?
Yeah.
So you have always done like that. You have always studied between the classes, and because of that, and because Rodolfo has been studying a lot, we are able to expand and increase the conversation time in class, which is awesome. Very nice. Anything else you want to say about this?
No, I think that. I think it's even it's about what we are going to see.
Mm-hmm.
The first task we have to take to do is about this an overview, and to understand and to make a general concept about what I will intend to learn. And I think now we've talked about that. I noticed that it's very interesting how it helps us to understand what we are doing, and it helps a lot to continue the activity or what have we proposed ourselves.
It's important to know where we are in the process. It's important to have an idea of the whole, all the steps, the whole thing, and to always take a look at where we are and to situate ourselves and to see what we have done already and what else we need to do. So let's start talking about this article. This article is interesting because you got it from another online course offered by Coursera, right?
Okay. Yes, that's the point. When we discover the internet by a way that we can use to improve our skills, it's very interesting because it's a new word that we discovered. Even when we can do things in English.
Yes.
In Portuguese, I'm not sure, but in English, it's incredible what we can do.
You mean on the internet?
On the internet.
And not just on the internet, but basically on the internet, because we can do so many things. So you have been taking this course, Learning How to Learn. I told you that I took it a few years, like 4 years ago. And it's awesome. I recommend it to everyone. This is the basics. And not just to learn English, to learn anything. Right, Rodolfo?
To learn anything. It's discussed at the beginning of this course. I noticed that there is a concern about if you want to learn a thing, maybe you want to learn it for your life, not for a moment. Because if you learn something just for a moment, you are wasting your time, because you have to review that, and so you by the one moment you will have noticed that you don't learn anything. So let's see about this article. I discovered this article in Coursera. It's an online platform that I can see. I'm not sure. My screen, you can see the article in my screen.
The chat disappeared. I'm going to just do this here, increase. Yeah. Can you see the...
Okay, I can see your screen. Learn How to Learn. It's Coursera is the platform, and you can enroll to any course that is available. Some courses aren't for free, but in general they are. And it's interesting because we don't pay much attention in this site, and I think we are not so used to that, and we try to avoid online things, online courses. At the beginning, when I discovered Érika, I had this feeling, and everyone, even my sister, my girlfriend, they were so
suspicious.
Suspicious, yes. But by after the first class, we see, wow, yeah, that's the way.
Yes, nice.
So okay.
This one here, for example, because I'm showing course right here, this course will begin. They have this course. They offer it regularly, and the next time they will offer it will begin March 5th, which is, what day is it today? Today is the 4th.
March 3rd.
March 3rd, yeah. So Monday.
Yeah.
Monday, March 5th. They will start all over again. So it's a good thing to do. All right, so let's see. So in this course, they suggested this article. And you read the article. We have already talked about it. So let's go over it again. Strengthening the student toolbox. What does it mean, the student toolbox?
Okay. Are you copying the introduction?
Okay.
Yes. The student toolbox is the tools that you have to learn something. In general, we don't reflect so much about that. It's interesting because about our lives, we don't think so much.
Yeah.
But if we reflect, we see that it's harder to have a great life than to maybe to cook.
Yeah.
And we spend more time learn how to cook than reflect or learn how to deal with our lives.
Yeah, how to learn, maybe, right?
How to learn.
Yeah, so we focus on on some specific skill, but it's important to reflect on how to learn that, and in an efficient way, right? Because there are many ways to get to the end goal, but it's important to find the best strategies to use your time in an efficient way. Otherwise, you'll be wasting your time. And at the same time, you could have, I'm not talking about shortcuts, but just efficient, using your time in a more efficient way, learning more in a shorter time, right?
Yes. We've seen, I think 2 weeks ago, an article about that site you advised, the musician one.
Yes, the bulletproof musician,
The bulletproof musician. And it's interesting because he said it's better 2 hours in a effective student learning, etc., than 8 hours long.
Yes.
So it's that. Toolbox is that. Tools that you can use to improve your learning.
To boost learning, like it says here. Yes.
You don't have to. Maybe you don't have to spend 8 hours a day. If you not waste, but if you.
I think it's waste, Rodolfo. Yes. In this case, it's a waste of time because you could have been doing other things. You could be resting, you could be sleeping, and restoring your energies, right? You could study for 1 hour and rest another hour, and then, right?
Yes, I think so. So, então, go and it's a good advice to waste your time, learn how to learn.
No, okay. I understand what you're saying. No, here it's not waste. I think I was thinking about spending like 8 hours to study something instead of 2 hours.
Yes.
And if you learning the same amount of things, right? So if it's possible to learn the same amount of things in 2 hours instead of 8, in this case you would be wasting your time, like 6 hours, right? In which you could be resting. So what is important to do that? What are the strategies that they mention here in the article?
Okay. At the beginning, it's an introduction, but what is pointed out is that students really don't know how to learn.
Yes.
And because that it's common that they get frustrated, they don't trust themselves, they think that they can't. It's a bad thing for those who are learning. So this article, this paper, is focused that. Let's reflect about how to learn.
Yeah, and also I see here a list of 10 learning strategies, and they test the efficacy of these learning strategies. These are common, I think the most common strategies, and they review them and say, oh, this strategy is not so good, or this strategy is very good, right?
Yes, it's a review. Let's see. First, let's see the strategies, and see what he says about each one.
Yes.
Practice testing. It's a strategy that you test yourself. Distributed practices is you do some practice, but not in one section. You do it regular by 2 months, 3 months, maybe once a week or 2 times a week, twice a week.
Yes.
Interleave practices, it's when you intercalate it. So you will keep doing a distributed practice, but not only one subject, maybe 2 or 3. You can test by yourself what's your limits or your break-even point.
Yes, very good.
Elaborative interrogation, you reflect, like ask why, what. Self-explanation, you develop a technique that you will learn by explaining the subject you learn by yourself.
Yes.
Reading, it's common, everyone knows what's that. Write, like, and underline, it's also common. Summarization, a lot of people do that.
Yes.
Keyword mnemonic, you create a new words. That's it's like a summarization, like a
it's a way for you to help you remember something, right?
Yes.
So you get, for example, the first letters, I don't know, of a sentence. You have a sentence, you get the first letters.
And it's a key to memorize a whole concept or a difficult word.
Yeah.
And the last one, imaginary for text. So it's a general review.
Yeah.
He pointed out, he reviewed that these strategies, learning strategies, and pointed out about so it's good or not. You are wasting time or not.
Yes.
Let's see. It's interesting. He didn't point out or didn't reviewed strategies that need like PC or other devices. That's it's because not everyone have these devices.
Has access. Yes, has access to this.
So let's see. He firstly show us how are the most effective learning strategies. But let's. I think it would be better to just pointed out. It's like my point of view, but I would like to point out what he is in fact reflects. When we show the most effective learning, when we finish that, we will see that the thing that we are discussing is an active learning. You are interacting with the learning process.
Yes. This is what I call being proactive, which is a term that I took from the companies, the corporations, etc. Which is a good. I like this term because it means you're engaging, right? If you are engaged, if you are involved, if you are proactive, and proactive in the sense of having initiative and looking for solutions for your problems, because there will always be challenges and problems. So being engaged, being independent, autonomous, this is Rodolfo. I have trained all my students to be like that. Rodolfo is like that.
No.
Yes, and this is one of the most important things, in my opinion. So he talks about that too. Right?
Yes, I think if we could summarize or sum up everything, it's like proactive against passive.
Yes, passive learning.
Yes. So it's a mindset. It's the techniques are good and etc. But what are in the philosophy of this paper is the mindset you have to develop.
Yeah, and talking about mindset, just quickly here, I think you remember that from Learning How to Learn. I don't know if they talk about it there, but people have been talking about the growth mindset and the other one that I forgot the name, the other kind of mindset. The other one is the mindset in which you feel you can't move on, you can't do anything, you feel powerless and you feel stagnated and paralyzed. And in the growth mindset, you feel you can do many things, right?
Yes.
So this is an important
Even
way.
You actually do, né?
Yeah, even if you do or not, it doesn't matter. But just the wish to do things is important to be there. Yes.
Yes. There is an interview of, I think the guy is French, Greek, etc. He is a French who is science, computational neuroscience, and in that interview he pointed out he is a reference. It's a guy that everyone that studied these things follows. And what's interesting, he pointed out this. Not smart people succeed. It's a good skill. But what will make you succeed is your mindset. You have to develop it. It's totally, you totally can develop this mindset.
Yes.
It's not fixed.
It's not fixed, yeah. The other one is the fixed mindset, that's it. There is the growth mindset and the fixed mindset,
so it's really interesting because people, nowadays, we see people like maybe classify one people as smart and the whole group that are smart, you can suppose they are not smart. So they can do difficult things or develop themselves. But when we get into the people that study this area, we see that it's a myth. It don't exist. Even the Barbara Oakley,
the teacher here, Barbara Oakley. Dr. Barbara Oakley.
Oakley, yes. He said, I think he was 26 years old. He didn't know math, and then now he is a math specialist.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yes. So now she's a reference.
A reference, an
But
expert.
up to her 26, he didn't know math.
Yeah, she didn't know math, and she didn't know about this growth mindset. I think she changed her, like you said, like her philosophy, her way to see things, her way to see the learning process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because at some moments you maybe say, I'm okay with my life. I like to have my weekends. I like to spend my day on Netflix. It's not a problem, but I don't want to learn because I will get frustrated, etc., etc. But what I think we see is that the pleasure on Netflix will decrease. The pleasure when you are learning and pushing yourself will increase by the time.
Yes, and this is so good. This feeling is so good, isn't it, Rodolfo?
And when you change your mindset, the first thing you see is that at the beginning you get frustrated, it's not so pleasure, but by the whole process, you see that it's really pleasure, and the happiness, it's not momentaneous.
Yeah, it is lasting.
Lasting.
Yeah, it's a lasting type of happiness because it's something that you used your brain to learn for yourself, and you did it yourself, and it's something that will stick with you forever. Knowledge is something that sticks with us forever.
Yes.
It's right. So it's very good. It's very nice.
If you a quotation by Socrates, he said, the only thing that really would work is the knowledge, because it's the only thing that you really have.
Yes.
The things that they can reach out of you aren't yours.
Yeah, there aren't ours, exactly.
Yeah. And you suffer from that.
Yes.
Because if you see Buddhism, the main idea, Samatha Buddha, etc. The main idea is that when you have this feeling of possession,
to possess something,
possess something, not the root of the suffering is that. So it's a good. I think it's a good idea to put yourself in this learning way.
Yeah, to invest in learning something. Invest your time.
Get out of the suffering.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's simple, isn't it, Rodolfo? It's so simple. Why don't more people do that?
Yes.
That's my question.
Yes.
Very good. So back to the article here. We have just a few minutes now to talk about these strategies and summarizing them. So they talk about the most effective learning strategies. Tell me why they are good and if you use them. So let's begin with practice testing.
How long do we have?
We have about 20 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. The first one that is discussed is the practice testing. It's interesting, and we are not so used to that because we have learned rereading or highlight things, and the practice is interesting because when you do that, you are testing yourself. You have under concept by these strategies that when you practice, you see what you already know, and indirectly you are seeing what you have to improve.
Yes.
It's like it will point out to you what you have to focus at.
Yeah.
At some moments we are so interesting with we are learning, and we don't have time to, even we have, but we don't stop and think, what I have to learn, or what I done.
Yeah, it's a kind of a self-evaluation at a point in the process, right?
It's a feedback.
Feedback, yes. Feedback. And it's also important, I've been telling students to develop, besides developing this independence, autonomy, proactivity, developing self-monitoring. That's what the guy in the Bulletproof blog says. It's important to have the self-monitoring aspect of yourself, so you can stop and see. You don't need anybody else. It's good if you have a teacher, but don't depend on the teacher. Use the teacher to help you, to guide you, to give you ideas, suggestions, and direct you. But you need to be able to see where you are and where you need to go and what you need to do to get there at as many steps as in many points in your journey as possible. So just a moment, and this testing here, Rodolfo, they're talking about tests, exams, and quizzes. But if you do an exercise in a book, it counts as testing also, I believe. For example, you used books in the past, right? And you did the exercises by yourself. It counts if you check the answers and if you see, I got these exercises right, so I know this well, but these I got wrong. Is it lack of attention, or is it because I don't know? So it's a kind of test. I consider it a kind of test too.
Okay. Just to point out what you said, I think it's interesting, because if we always concern our improvement or anything in the feedback of other person, we are vulnerable, because because we have to develop this mindset to look into ourselves. Not only English, I think, example, relationships. If you wait the end or discussions, etc., to change your mind, so you suffer a lot.
And it might be too late, right?
Yeah, it might be too late. So what you would do? Why not to change now? Né?
Yeah. Now we only have now.
We only have now.
We don't have the past. We don't have the future. We have right now.
Yes, I think.
So this is practice testing. So there are two most efficient strategies that they consider the most effective. Practice testing, and the other one is distributed practice.
Practice.
So talk more about distributed practice now.
Yes, it's the same thing, but now you are doing this practice once a week. Example. There is some discussion, and you find it if you Google. What's the point? Example. Firstly I learned something. In the next week I will review that by practices, and the next week I review, or I will review that for the next month or 15 days, etc. So you have to develop this this time, this point. So what's interesting, because we think that we can develop a skill only the night before the test or the week before the test. But what we see is that it's a myth. We can't develop ourselves in just that short time. Maybe we can develop a skill that is not a really skill, but an improvement of a skill with a red hat. So it's a little improvement. We can do that. But in general, when we are learning, we have to allow our brain to develop the synapses. And it takes time, like we are in the gym. We don't think if you spend a whole day or a whole week without any
practice.
A whole week just practice. You will be in the next week a maromba. I don't know.
Okay, you will master whatever it is.
Yes.
You're talking about massed practice.
Yes.
Massed practice.
It takes time. You have to.
It takes time.
Distribute it.
Yeah. They say here, not using distributed practice for study is unfortunate because the empirical evidence for the benefits of distributed over massed, that's what you're talking about, practice,
Yes.
is overwhelming. And the strategy itself is relatively easy to understand and use. It's easy, right?
Yes. It's intuitive.
It's intuitive, yes.
Yeah. Like you are in a gym.
In a gym,
you want to develop your muscle.
Yeah.
You are developing in one day, 1 week. We already know that we can.
For example, what you need to do is map out how many study sessions you will need before an exam, for example. For example, you're preparing for IELTS. So we have mapped out we need a certain amount of classes. And then that's it. And then you study what you need to do for every class. Because the map, in case of Rodolfo's preparation for IELTS here, would be following that course on EDX. And there is a distribution there, right, for per week. They tell us what you should do per week. Just follow the path. It's a map. Follow. Do what you need to do once the steps have been organized. And that's super simple.
Yes. It's interesting because why people don't do that and at the gym, they do.
Yeah, why? I don't know. Tell me. Do you know why?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I don't know. I think I might have some hint here, theory. When you go to the gym, you know people there. And other people, there is a sort of community. Even if you're doing things by yourself, there are other people. There is some kind of an instructor around and other people. You talk to people. And there is a sense of inner responsibility. And you want to show that you're growing. So, and if you're studying by yourself, you don't have anyone to show and to show what your goals are. And you don't have this responsibility. And you can give up anytime you want. It's easy to give up. I think it's easy to give up.
It's external awareness, né?
This is external awareness. Yes, of course, it should come from inside, right? But the external, everything helps. And this might be one reason why people quit so easily. So, for example, the way we have been using Instagram now, so I ask students to post videos of them speaking to the camera, practicing speaking, and also pictures of their notes as they listen. And they follow other students, and they can follow, we follow them, and they can follow teachers and other students. And being part of a community in which everybody has about the same goal, which is to learn English. And just to see other people studying how they're studying, we can feel motivated, inspired, and more engaged, and have more energy to do what is necessary here, like to do all the steps. I don't know. This might be helpful. It's just an idea.
I think so.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah. Okay, Rodolfo, now these are the best strategies. Distributed practice and practice testing. Now, there are...
Just to point out, at the moment of this article, he said, interleaved practice is a new thing. We have no consistent evidence as we have to practice or distributed practice. But it's a good one.
Yeah, so,
a good one.
Yeah, so it has promise.
Very great.
Yeah, it has much promise, right? A lot of potential. And what is interleaved practice again?
Okay, we put the practice concept, the distributed practice, and now with these strategies we will intercalate with different subjects,
subjects. You change
in the section.
Yes.
In the section, it's third section. So that's the idea. And nowadays, it's I think it's common. It's when you see other material, like we have a book in, let me see. I have this in Portuguese. Você sabe estudar. Cláudio de Moura Castro. It's an interesting one. What I really advise.
Is this an article or a book?
It's a book.
A book, okay.
It's a short one, maybe 100 to 200
pages, okay.
Pages. And they really advise you to do that interleave practices. So, okay. These are the practice, the strategies that he really advised. Elaborative interrogation and self-explanation are good. We can put these techniques into like a distributed practice. You can fit your needs and they see what works better for you. But let's see techniques that are less efficient.
Okay. So, rereading and highlighting.
Okay, let's begin. Rereading and highlighting, it's intuitive. Everyone knows how to do that. So you spend a lot of time rereading a lot of texts, highlight some key concepts, etc. And you do that expecting that you can learn by these techniques. Okay, you have text, a test, and well, when you do, you see, I've learned nothing. I can't learn, and you get frustrated. That's the whole process. No?
Yeah.
And that's what he said.
Yeah.
These are good for some points, like the first time you see read something.
It's only the beginning of the journey, right?
On the beginning of the journey. But if you keep these techniques along the learning process, you see that you've learned nothing, or maybe 20% of the whole, very little. And it's because you get frustrated, not because you can't
learn.
Yeah.
It's because of this strategy that you're using. Because each strategy has a purpose. And if you're using the strategy for the wrong purpose, you feel frustrated.
Yes. It's interesting because if you meant to do something, think about what are your goals.
Yes.
And trace your path by your goals.
Yeah.
In philosophy, we see that what is important, it's not the mean. You have to know where you want to reach, what level, what etc. you want to reach. Because when you know where you want to go, you can keep your motivation, etc. Keep it on date,
especially if it was you that defined your path, right? Because when other people impose a path on you, you might feel, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. But if you are engaged and proactive and you define your own, all the steps you need to follow to reach a certain goal, this can be a source of motivation again, right?
Yes,
and help
it's
you.
like you are linking you with yourself.
Yes.
When you lost this link, you control your life and you get paid, etc., etc. So it's interesting because seeing what he say, we can use it for the whole life. Like a general law that apply to the whole life.
Yeah, yes. And the worst strategies are summarization and keyword, mnemonic, and imaginary for tests. They're worse because they're more limited, I think, right? So they can.
It's not because
they are bad by themselves.
They are bad by themselves.
But they're very.
You can use that summarization here, even a device summarization to develop this mindset. You have to get the key point of what you are learning.
Yeah, it's important.
It's important.
Yeah.
Summarization will develop that.
Yes.
A real summarization. So,
well done.
Yeah, well done. But if you use that to learn everything, what you see is that you are not learn so much, and you are it's effort consume technique.
Yes.
So you stress so much and they have so little results. And
exactly.
It's because it's not so effective strategy, but it works.
Yeah.
Even to develop this summarization mindset.
Yeah.
And the last one, keyword mnemonic and imaginary for text.
Imagery.
They are
imagery. Yeah, for text.
Imagery for text. So they still works, but are limited. When the knowledge are so abstracted, how do you imagine things? It's difficult. You spend so time create an imaginary world that your effort you direct it to imagining, not to learn.
Yeah.
But in some occasions it can really be helpful.
Yeah. It's an awesome article, very, very useful. I recommend everybody to read it, to download it. You can find it here in this course, Learning How to Learn, Powerful Mental Tools to Help You Master Tough Subjects. And so you have been trying to use them, Rodolfo. Which ones?
These techniques?
Yeah, which one of them do you like to use?
Distributed practice, interleaved. I think they are the concept that we learn that is consistency, persistence.
Yeah.
But now you are awareness about that. If you do that in an intelligible way, and you think and reflect about these techniques and use and you fit it in your needs, it can be helpful.
Very nice.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I use that and the practice, maybe highlight and the summarization. Summarization, when I'm studying, I think summarization is a great mindset to develop because it really helps.
Very nice, very nice. It was awesome. I loved this live class. It was the first one with a student like Rodolfo. This is an advanced class again. It was mostly in English. We're going to stop here. Thank you so much, Rodolfo. I loved this class. And thank you all for watching these classes. Hopefully we'll do this more often. I hope so, because I really like this. And that's it. Keep studying, right, Rodolfo? Keep studying every day.
Okay.
And that's it for now. We're going to stop here. I'll see you next time, okay?
I see you. Thank you, Érika. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.